Hi guys, we know how to reduce a given circuit, especially in series and parallel combination. Suppose here you can see in the first circuit I am having 4 resistors. So 1, this is 2 and 3 and 4. Now 3 and 4 are in parallel. So we know how to combine these parallel resistance. Now 3 and 4 combined, it becomes a single resistance of resistance R by 2. Now again this R 1 2, suppose if you can call this 5. Now 1 5 2, again they are in series, and we know how to reduce the circuit. Now it became a single resistance. Now we know how to reduce, how to combine these resistance. For more complex, it comes to series and parallel, but there are the circuits are there, so in that we cannot compress that, we cannot reduce into single forms, because the circuit may contains more number of cells. So in those cases, for more complex circuits which cannot break down into series and parallel combinations, so in those circuits, to solve either current in the circuit or total resistance or voltage or power consumed by the circuit, any kind of the formula or any kind of the value to find out in these complex circuits, so we are depending on Kirchhoff laws. So these Kirchhoff laws are very useful to find out the total current and what is the total power consumed by this circuit. So we are having two very useful, very handful two laws, those known as Kirchhoff laws. The first rule is that junction rule. The junction rule says that at any junction, the current entering the junction must equal the current leaving it. Suppose if I take a junction at here, so this is junction. Junction is a location where all routes are passes through it. Now at a given junction, the algebraic sum of the currents equal to 0. The algebraic sum of currents at a junction equal to 0, or algebraic sum of currents entering is equal to algebraic sum of current leaving. I can write that out. Now here you can see directly how many currents are entering towards the junctions. So I1 is current is entering towards to the junction, and I2 is also entering towards to the junction, and I4 and I5. So these four currents are entering towards to the junction. Now if I write the algebraic sum of current entering, sigma I in means current entering towards to the junction. So I1 plus I2 plus I4 and I5. So these four currents are entering towards to the junction, and the currents which are leaving the junction. Now I6 is leaving the junction, and I3 is also leaving. It is going away from the junction. Now if you can write that current leaving the junction, I3 plus I6. Now if we combine all this, how many currents are entering and how many currents are leaving, the total current value goes to 0. So this is our Kirchhoff's first law, also known as junction rule, also known as current law, KCL, Kirchhoff's current law. So at any junction, the current entering the junction must equal the current leaving it. Let us see it in a circuit form. Suppose this is one of the given circuit diagram. So in the circuit diagram, I am having A B and E are the two junctions. Now this is one of the location B and E, both are the same. Now to the junction, if current I1 is passing, no, at a junction the current must divide. The current divides at a junction. Same current it won't flow. Current must divide at a given junction. So now at B junction, so it is having two ways. One along to the B to C and one along to the B to E. Now the current is flowing through B to E, which is considered as I2, and current is flowing through B to C, which is considered as I3. Now at the junction B, current is divided as I2 and I3. Now the same current I3 passes from C to D, same current I3, and same current passes from B to E. It reaches up to at here. And similarly, from the B to E, same current I2 passes. Now at E, these two currents again they combine. I2 and I3 they can combine at E junction, and again we get back our original current, that is I1. So how at B currents are dividing, separating, and likely at junction E they combine each other. But if you take the algebraic sum, the total amount of currents at a given junction, currents leaving at a given junction, the algebraic sum of current equal to 0. So this is one of the rule which is given by Kirchhoff to solve the current in the given circuit. Simple rule, remember like this: the algebraic sum of currents at a given junction is equal to 0. Second one, this is known as the loop rule or voltage rule. So this rule says that the algebraic sum of potential differences around a closed loop must be 0. Here each word is important. The algebraic sum of potential differences around a closed loop. So first we need to consider one closed loop. So let me consider this is one of the closed loop. Either you can consider clockwise direction or you may consider counterclockwise direction. Any direction you can consider, there is no problem. But this loop must be closed loop. You should cover where you start, there it's supposed to be end. Okay, we consider one of the loop. Now I am starting from A all the way, I am going B to C to D, and again I came back to A. So this is the loop I consider. So in this loop, the algebraic sum of potential differences. So here how many potential difference we are having? We are having at here source potential difference, that equal to EMF E, which is given, and at here resistance. So resistance potential difference, how can I calculate that? If I know the value of the current which is passing through the resistance, if I know how much current is passing through the resistance, suppose through this Is current is flowing through that Is current, and the resistance already is there. So this is the potential difference which I mentioned at right now for a moment, delta V suffix CD. CD is the branch. Now the algebraic sum of these two potential differences, it means EMF E plus delta VCD equal to 0. So this rule we known as the loop rule. In order to solve the loop rule, first we need to consider a loop. So within that loop, the algebraic sum of the potential differences around a closed loop, that must be 0. So let us apply this loop rule for a given situation. Suppose for a given circuit. So depends upon the location where we need to find either resistance or current. We need to consider those particular loops. Suppose here you can see I'm having 3 resistors, they are connected like that. Now here I can consider 2 loops around loop A, B, E, F, A. So this is the first loop. And in the second branch at here, loop, if we can go again clockwise direction, loop E, B, C, D, E. So this is my second loop. Or we may consider a loop of like this also. Suppose you can consider the first loop as it is, so which is a small loop. But now in the second time, instead of considering a small loop of E, B, C, D, E, we can consider a long loop which covers all the resistance. So here the loop which is considered A, B, C, D, E, F, A. So this loop covers all the components in the given circuit. So we need to consider like that. It's supposed to cover almost all the components. Then only we can get more equations to solve the given components. Or we may consider exactly opposite like that. Suppose if I consider the first loop as A, B, C, D, E, F, A, that is long loop. So after long loop, so there is one more short loop within the loop. So these 2 loops will covers all the components. So these 3 diagrams, the 3 diagrams will covers all the components in the 2 loops. So there is one more possibility to consider. Suppose here we can see. So here I consider 2 small inner loops, that is A, B, E, F, A, which covers resistance R1 and R2, the potential difference V1. And one more loop which covers R2 resistance and R3 resistance, that is loop E, B, C, D, E. Now in order to, other than these 2, if I consider one more long loop, that is from A, B, C, D, E, F, A. So here the third long loop is not necessary because the components we need to cover, so those components we already covered in the 2 loops itself. So if you considering like the third loop again, so we will stuck up while solving that equations. So that is not good idea. So whenever we are considering loop to solve the given quantities in the given circuit, so try to cover maximum all the components so that we can get the expressions to solve the variables what they ask, either the current or voltage. So be careful while selecting the loops. Now here we need to apply certain conventions. So these conventions are the very important. So the first one, so in the previous slide we discussed about the loops. Now in that loop, if you are traveling, So in the loop, if you are traveling, so when you are traveling, your direction and the current direction at a resistance. Suppose if I consider I am traveling along the loop, so that is my direction. So this is my direction, and my direction and current direction, they both are same at resistance. By the time I have to take the potential difference or the resistance value, the sum of the product of the resistance and current value is negative. So this value we should take as negative as per the convention. After considering loop, we need to travel along the loop. So when we came across resistance, the current direction in the resistance and our direction is both are the same, then you take the product of current and resistance along with negative sign. Similarly, when you are traveling loop, in that loop, the current direction and your direction is opposite across the resistance. So I am traveling in a loop. So in that loop, my direction and current direction, they both become opposite. So in that case, the product of current and resistance at that particular resistors, we take that as positive. So one more convention. So in our circuit, along the resistance, we are having potential difference, voltage sources. And same, suppose if I am traveling along the loop, when it comes to cell, if I am crossing a cell from negative to positive, if I am crossing a cell negative to positive, I am crossing. If you are crossing a cell negative to positive, it means you are traveling along the loop in this direction from negative to positive. We take that cell potential difference as positive. Similarly, and when your direction, when you are crossing a cell from positive to negative, so by the time you take the cell potential difference as negative, the EMF value is negative. So these four sign conventions we will use to write the expression for given circuit by using the Kirchhoff laws. Again, look at carefully. When I am crossing a resistance in the loop, if my direction and current direction, they both are the same, so the product of current and resistance should take as negative. Similarly, within the loop, my direction and current direction at a given resistance which is opposite, then we take that product current and resistance is positive. When it comes to potential difference, when we are crossing a cell from negative to positive, we take that cell EMF value as positive. And we are crossing a cell from positive to negative, we take that potential difference value as negative. So these are the four sign conventions, not rules. So these are the four sign conventions to solve the equations. So before using Kirchhoff laws, try to remember this. The first one, the variables for which you are looking. Variables means either the current value or voltage value. So those are the currents through the resistance. So because our circuit almost contains cells and resistance only. And to find these variables, especially currents, we need as many as independent equations. What is the meaning of independent equations? Here, depends upon our circuit, we will get each loop from each loop we will get each equations. And after that, after writing the equations, to write the equations, here we need both loop rule and junction rule. Let us try to apply this. Yeah, before that, this is a very important point which I want to highlight it here. The the junction rule is a consequence of conservation of charge, and the loop rule is a consequence of conservation of energy. Again repeating, the junction rule is a consequence of conservation of charge, and the loop rule is a consequence of conservation of energy. So let's try to apply. So the given equation is find the values of I1, I2, I3. So they are given in the circuit. So in the circuit, we need to find what is the value of I1 and what is the value of I2 and what is the value of I3. So to find these I1, I2, I3, first we need to consider loops. Before that, I would present our sign conventions, write it here. Now here I divided, so here the resistance values also we got and that potential values also we got. Now try to apply the loop rule in the first case. So we consider a loop, that is loop A, B, E, F, A. So we are traveling along clockwise direction. Now let us come to it here. So I am traveling along in these directions. So this is my loop. Now across the resistance I1, so this is the direction of current. Now at resistance, so this is my direction. Now at resistance, current direction and my direction, they both are same. So at resistance, if current direction and my direction both are same, what we should take? We take that value as minus I. So the product at there I can get minus I1 times R1. Now I am passing the loop in the same way like this. Now when it comes to resistance R2, now current direction also in the same direction. So my direction and current direction at resistance R2 is again same. Now here I need to mention that as again minus I2 and R2. Now when it comes to cell, now I am crossing cell from negative to positive. Now when I cross cell from negative to positive, how can I represent? I will represent that as plus. I can write that V1. So which everything equal to 0. So that is the way to write the equation for the given expression. So finally we got that the minus I1 R1, because my direction and current across the resistance direction, they both are same. So according to sign convention, we take that as negative. And across resistance R2, the current direction and my direction which I am moving in the loop, they both are same. So that's why that is taken as a negative. And when it comes to cell, I am crossing cell. I need to cross cell from negative to positive. So we need to take that as positive. So that everything goes to 0. So if you can rearrange that, that will become V1 equal to I1 R1 plus I2 R2. I hope you are understanding how to apply the sign convention to a given loop. Now let's consider another loop. Now this time I would like to apply the rule in this loop. So let me take out that first. Now I would like to apply the loop in this second loop, E, B, C, D, E. Now I'm crossing the resistance. So my direction and current in the resistance direction, they both are the same. They both are same. So how can I write? So if my direction of travel and direction of current, they both are same. So we will represent that as negative IR. So I can write that minus the current in R3, it is I3, and resistance across R3, that is R3 itself. Now when it comes to resistance R4, so this is resistance R4. So my direction and the current direction. So the same current I3 will be passes across resistance R4, the same current. Since in the same branch between the C2D, it passes. Now my direction in the loop and current across the resistance, they both are in the same direction. So here I need to represent that minus I3 times R4. Now when it comes to cell, so in this case now I need to cross the cell from positive to negative. So when we cross cell from positive to negative, so we need to take the cell value as negative. So here I will represent that minus the cell value here equal to V2. Now when it comes to resistance, again one more resistance R2 is there, because R2 is in between the two loops. So this resistance also we need to consider. Now in this resistance, the current direction across R2 and my direction in the loop is, they both are opposite. When these two are opposite, my direction of travel and current direction, they both are opposite, by the time we take that value as positive. So I can take that plus I2 R2. So this everything equal to 0. So if you can write that plus I2 R2 minus of R3 plus R4 minus V2 equal to 0. So this is the way, by using conventions, we need to apply the sign conventions to a loop which is considered. So finally, the all rules which we applied at here. So one is the junction rule along the algebraic sum of the currents equal to 0, that is I1 minus I2 minus I3 equal to 0, and in the loop ABEFA. So by following conventions, we have written I1 R1 plus I2 R2 equal to V1, and in the loop EBCDE, I2 R2 minus I3 of R3 plus R4 equal to V4. Now if we solve these expressions, we need to solve here. We need to solve these equations by taking 1, 2 and 3, by adding equations 2 plus 3, or by subtracting 1, by substituting 1 in 3. So we will solve for the current I1 and I2 and I3. So this is the way to get the final values of currents or power or EMF for a given circuit by applying Kirchhoff rules. So Kirchhoff rules are two rules. One is junction rule, one is voltage rule. So the junction rule says that the algebraic sum of the currents at a given junction is equal to 0. And voltage rule says that, so this is the junction rule, at any junction the current entering the junction is equal to the current leaving, or you remember like this, the algebraic sum of the currents at a given junction equal to 0. And loop rule, the algebraic sum of the potential differences around a closed loop, that must be 0. So we will solve certain example problem for better understanding.